Hi guys, thanks very much for joining me. I'm stood on the banks of Pitsford Reservoir. It's the biggest body of water in Northamptonshire and it's part of the Anglian Waters fisheries. It holds some fabulous fish, especially at this time of year. The brown trout are becoming active, trying to pack on weight before winter comes, and conditions look absolutely glorious today. So without further ado, let's get into it. Well, what can I tell you about Pitsford? I've not fished here for a while, to be honest. It's been some time, but it's basically a reservoir that's split into two halves. There's a big half and there's a smaller half, and it's separated by a causeway that when the water's high it can be quite a hairy trip underneath. So we'll have a look at that later on. As with the majority of Anglian water fisheries, Pitsford has an extensive tackle shop where you can pick up anything from fly tying materials to rods to fly lines. It's all here available in the shop. So if you come on a trip and you happen to have forgotten anything, you can always get it here at the shop. Well, while I'm in the shop, I've been doing quite a bit of tying for today actually. Steve's given me plenty of instruction on what we're going to be requiring, but the very flies are in the shop here, and I don't know if this will, you'll be able to see this, but there's some humonguses. Hopefully we're going to be fishing a few of them today, and hopefully the big brown trout will be playing. I'm joined with Steve Cullen today. He's a former teammate with Team Loomis, and he's targeted these big fish on Pitsford before, so I'm hoping he's going to give me a few tips today. And what do you think of your prospects, Steve?
Well, I prefer the wind to be in a different direction, but then there's always a reason for an excuse, isn't there, Lindsay? So I'm getting.
Let's make our excuses early.
I'll get my excuses in early. We should be okay, but what I'm looking to do today is I've got some parallel drifts that we want to take next to the bank, and we're looking for sort of drop-off areas for the bigger brownies. Rainbows, we might pick them up, but ideally this is a win for brownies, and the way we're fishing's specifically targeting them.
Yeah, and do you think we'll be fishing deep for them?
We'll be fishing deep, mate. These brownies, we're looking to fish with flies between 6 and 10 feet. 6 and 10 feet, and it'll be the slow steady pulls or roly-poly. We need to figure out what they want on the day, but yeah. The one thing with brownies that's key, more so than rainbows, is if we're fishing with flies with weight on them. And the reason for that is brownies will often follow up to the boat. You need a fly. As soon as you stop retrieving, it dips down again. It's often on that dip down. That's why we've got to have polarising hats on so we can see everything happening in the water.
Yeah, I've had a wee look at the water actually. It's very clear, so that might aid us a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
On the hang. Well, that's great, mate. I think we should get kitted up and get to it.
Good man, Lindsay. Let's do it. So, first drift of the day. It's a bit breezy and a bit bright, but we've went deep, and luckily I had my polarise on because this fella came up for a look, dropped the fly back down, and he nailed it. I actually seen him take the fly. First drift, first fish of the day. You ready for this? I'm gonna be very gentle with him because this is a boy. There you go, look at that for a brownie. That's a good start to anybody's day. Proper big Pitsford brownie on a humongus. Oh, what a fish!
Well, me and Steve's been at it for a couple of hours now. 3 casts in, Steve had a leviathan, which you've seen there. Awesome fish, absolutely amazing. It's so exciting. I didn't even catch it and I'm still buzzing. Since then I've had a little brownie myself, and Steve just had another really good fish that would have went 3 to 4 pounds. Now, although it might not seem much, 3 fish for a couple of hours fishing, we're seeing lots of fish in the surface, and these are rainbows, and if we switch tactics I'm very sure that we would catch plenty of fish. But if you want to try and target these big browns, you've got to persevere with the big flies and the fast sinking lines. So we're going to keep going because we've had the encouragement. Let's see how we get on. So we're just fishing along there, and Steve had a massive dunt that he missed, and I'd cast out just at the same time, stripping back, and I got hit. Steve thought it was a rainbow at first, but actually it was a cracking brown trout. Barely get it out of the water. What a beauty. Right, let's get him back. Well, I'm absolutely buzzing. I've just had the biggest fish I've had this year, and probably in my top 5 off a reservoir ever. So I'm celebrating with a brew dog, thanks to Steve, and we're going to stop and have some lunch later. We're having an absolutely awesome day. I never thought I'd find something that would give me the same buzz as competition fishing, but by God, this comes damn near. Well, we've had lunch now. We've been out for about an hour and a half after lunch. The sun's been high in the sky all day. It's been an absolute blister of a day. But that's not stopped the brownies wanting to join in, and me and Steve haven't had a rainbow today. We've stuck with the Hueys, and we've caught brown trout all day. So I've just had another one. It's not massive, but it's still a nice brownie. Let's have a wee look. Well, we're having a phenomenal day's sport, and people are always asking when I do these videos, well, you've not told us how you're fishing or how you're set up. So what I'm going to do is hand you over to an expert. We've not deviated from this method all day. We've not caught hundreds of fish, but the fish we've caught have been absolute toppers. So let me hand you over to Steve Cullen.
So, for targeting these brownies today, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get the flies deep. And we're fishing big flies. I'll just give you a quick look here. So that's the kind of stuff we're fishing. Big humies, gold and silver, black and silver, black and gold, white and silver. And we're just chopping in changes, but the real key to this is line density. I've got a really fast sinking line on here. This is a Dye 740 plus. The other line I'll be switching to today is a Dye 7 Extreme. This has got a different angle on it. Check this out, everybody. Ruin my fishing for the next half an hour, but there you go. So yeah, and the plan is get it down deep. What we're doing is we're casting proper full lines. I would say maybe 25 or 30 yards, maybe even a little bit further, given the wind giving us a hand here. And we're figure 8 and 20, then I go down 20, and I'll quite often take on that drop because it's coming down in the water column, usually the point fly. And then we're getting them again as we're coming up. So you're getting them on the down and you're getting them on the up. It's very rare that you get brownies on a level plane like you do with rainbows. So we're fishing these lines, either a 40 plus or a Dye 7 Extreme, just so we can get that angle in the water. So we're pivoting those flies when it goes on the down and back again and up. And the one thing that I mentioned at the start is a pair of Polaroids and a hat, because a lot of these brownies will follow a fly up. And unlike rainbows that'll swim about it, a brownie will just dive straight away. So you want your flies, we've got chain beads eyes on these flies. As soon as we stop retrieving, they dive down in the water. It's quite often that downward motion at the last second switches the brownie on to take. I hope I explained that well enough for everybody, I'm sure I did.
Well, we've been targeting browns all day, and we're getting near last knock-ins, and we've come over to the opposite side of the fishery, and Steve's just got a double shooter. I think one of them snapped him actually.
Big brownie. Well, it's been a bit of a revelation today. This morning the fishing was a lot better. This afternoon it slowed up a bit. That's because we've got a squally wind and bright sun. We're not getting the drifts that we'd want as well. We want to try and run parallel to the banking. We've had some big fish today, but we've had a lot of brownies, sort of 2.5 to 4 pound as well. Again, if you were catching these on any other day, they'd be pretty special. But I think with this technique, fishing deep with the bigger flies, you're looking to get something just a little bit better than the norm, and I think we've had that today. So if you've never tried this style of fishing, I would suggest you give it a go. Great fun, hard work mind you when you get a bit older, but great fun, and certainly the rewards are worth it. I hope you feel the same.
Well, what an absolutely awesome day I've had with Steve. It's been an absolute revelation to me. I've always been a guy that's been about the numbers. I've never really much bothered about quality, but we've gone out today, we've targeted big fish, and we've managed to get a couple of real stonkers. I'm over the moon. I'm still buzzing actually, and it's about 4 hours ago since I caught my big fish. But great day, thoroughly enjoyed it, got to do it again, and I'm certainly going to put some thought into how I go fishing from now on.